go ahead and get started whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Hopefully you found your way here and we're getting started, or you get to watch this on video later. My name is Carrie Ratzak, and I am going to just start off this whole TILO webinar, the first one, the TILO Presents. I'm going to share right now my screen with the document on it if you haven't seen that yet. So let me see where I am here. And it's a problem with having several windows open, right? Okay. So I've got this document here for everyone to take a look at if you haven't opened this up yet. This is kind of the outline we're going to go through today. And keep in mind that this will be here and there's areas for you to add notes to. But this is the link. Oh, I love that. Yes, there's the large link now to this document if you need to access it in another window or another tab. And for today, I'm just going to go through where we started. TILO kind of came out of an idea I had a few years ago, hoping to get a bunch of people like me, meaning my job, integration specialists, together to share resources, help each other out, you know, do workshops for each other's teachers and so forth if we can, and really just kind of support each other in this whole process. More and more integration people are in districts every day, it seems like, and so this is definitely a growing field. And we started off in May with just asking people to join up, and we're just starting now to get things rolling with this first webinar. And we have a website that's in process as well that's listed there. And we're starting to get some events on the calendar, some more webinars, and then gathering resources for us that will be found eventually on that website. So we've got a bunch of people willing to help out, and we're just trying to get organized and get some things in place. So we really appreciate your help on that. So for today, we've got 4 of us here. Tiffany wasn't able to make it today, but we've got 4 of us here just wanting to start off and just share some of our kind of top tips or things that we find very, very helpful in our day jobs, so to speak. And again, by no means is this the only thing that we would like to, you know, share, but we had to pick 2 to 3. I'm sure everyone can have a few as well that hopefully you'll share later in the document. And before we get there, though, I just want to have everyone go through. We'll have Amy and then Jennifer and then Eric introduce themselves and where they're from and what they do and so forth. So go ahead, Eric.
All right, I guess I will go first if that's all right with you. Am I set to go?
You're good.
Oh, okay. All right. So I am Amy Hollingsworth. I'm with the Massillon City School District, and I am the District Technology Integration Specialist. I'm I like to say, the teacher who teaches teachers to teach with technology. And so I come from an interesting background. I was at the University of Akron for 7 years, and I taught, I was a biology professor. And before that, taught high school biology on the Mexican border for almost 10 years. And so have an interesting way that I ended up here, a little bit of a different path. So I will give that up to the next person.
Hello, I'm Jennifer Bangle. I am from Vermilion Local Schools, and I do exactly what Amy said that she does. I'm the District's Technology Integration Specialist. I offer a lot of professional development for our teachers, and I also taught biology for 15 years previous to becoming the technology coach here in Vermilion. So there must be something with us scientists and our gravitation towards technology. I know Carrie was in science too, so. You're a former science teacher, and now you're into technology. You're in good company.
All right, and I saw what you did there with science teacher and gravitation towards science. That was not missed. I did catch that. So very, very good pun there. Howdy, everybody. My name is Eric Kurtz. I'm the one of the technology integration specialists for SPARC. SPARC is the Stark Portage Area Computers Consortium. We're an ITC in Northeast Ohio, serving Stark County, Portage County, surrounding counties. This is my 24th year in education. I started my career as a middle school math teacher and taught 7th and 8th grade math for many years before moving into tech integration at the district level, and then for several years now at the regional level. I'm also a Googly guy. I'm a Google certified teacher, a Google certified trainer, help run the GEG Ohio, and lots of other fun things like that. So it's a pleasure to be here with everybody today.
All right, so I guess we'll go ahead and get started. I guess Amy will start. Oh, I didn't introduce myself either. I guess I should do that more officially. I am Carrie Rathsack, and I am the integration specialist here at Rossford Schools in Northwest Ohio near Toledo. And I've been in this position now, I think, 7 years. And then before that, I was at Bowling Green State University, sadly, who lost to Toledo last night in football. I was a assistant director there at their Center for Teaching and Learning, and then before that I was a classroom teacher in science. I taught biology and physical science and even a little health in my early days. So we all have some of those similar backgrounds, but integration has always been at my heart of what I did. So that's why I'm very happy to be here doing this on a daily basis. So we're going to get started with either Amy, I think, might be showing some of the, or showing that link to the 40 ways, which is a great reference then for people for later to check out. I don't know if Amy is going to touch upon that or just go right into hers. So I'll let Amy take over.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm not sure if I need to click on myself. Oh, I did, and now I am presenting. I'm realizing I have my sunglasses on my head too. It's funny what you realize when you're looking at yourself on the screen. So I am going to go ahead and get started. We had a video that we were going to get from Tiffany, and for some reason through the Googly Hangouts that didn't manage to come together. So I didn't want you to miss out on Tiffany, and so one of the things that I did was, let's see if I can share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay, so let me make sure I'm sharing my screen, and I will entire screen share. All right. So now you should be able to see my screen, correct?
We can see it.
Fantastic. This technology is amazing. So what I put here under Tiffany was an awesome presentation that I found today that I thought would be something that you as technology integration specialists might want to go through with your people, with your school district, and it's something that I feel is really simple enough that beginners, intermediates, and advanced can get something out of it. And I am always looking for these types of resources when I'm going out into the districts, because I have somebody at every level who is looking for information or looking for that one little tip that they didn't know somewhere along the way. So please take this, share this if it works for you. I hope that it does. And remember that in your districts you're going to have your beginners, your intermediate, and your advanced. And it's always nice to do a little bit of differentiated instruction, not just that our teachers are differentiating, but we as technology integration specialists are integrating it, are differentiating as well. And so I'll always try and hit that beginner. Maybe that is your veteran teacher who has been teaching for 30 years and is scared to death of this Google thing. Maybe it's your intermediate who has somewhat gotten the skill, but there's still some things to be learned. And then you may have your technology all-stars. I think that's how all of us came to the positions that we're at, because we were not afraid to innovate, not afraid to pick up that gadget and try it for the very first time. And so I think this is a great presentation to share within your district. The first tip I wanted to share with you is a Google extension that I use every day. I use it to create these screenshots that I put into the Google document. So awesome screenshot, something I use every day. I took a screenshot of the awesome screenshot web page, and so what you can do is you can install this as a Google extension, and you can take little screenshots, you can take entire print screens, you can collect all of those. If you log in through your Google account, which I'm sure many of us have because we are Google educators, we can save them under different projects. So if you're taking screenshots and you need to share them out with your teachers, or if you need to draw on them, circle something, highlight something, one of the ways in which I just used this extension is that we're coming up on testing season, and sometimes there's that little button that teachers miss when we are sharing with them the screen, and so I can circle it with my big red highlighter, and I can put an arrow and point to it. I can even annotate the page if I need to, so I can put script on top of the picture. And I think that that is probably one of the apps that I use the most in my professional life. The second one that I use is a password keeper. Anyone who is here who probably logs in to 20 or more websites a day, get yourself a password keeper. That way, if you install it as an extension into your browser, it will fill that in, and on every website that you've got. No more searching for Post-it notes that have your passwords on them. No more using the same password for every single account. And if you log into LastPass, you can put the passwords into groups. Like I have my financials, I have my personal website, and I have my school website information all stored within different folders. And then finally, the last one that I would share with you is one that I've just stumbled upon. And as people who try these things out, we often want to do the free version of things. This is one of those extensions I actually pay for because it is something that helps me to schedule emails and then return them to my inbox whenever I need them. So if I answer an email, I can actually click on return this to me in 2 days if I don't get any response. So when people wonder, how do you remember to check up on me? It's because the email gets sent back to the top of my inbox. So it gets boomeranged back, and I think that is an amazing thing that is so helpful for me in my everyday life. And so I'm going to go back to stop sharing. Oh, there's my face. And so I will give the mic over to whoever is next.
Well, before we jump over to there, real quick, just a couple of quick reminders for anybody that is watching us live here and you're in the document. Please feel free to add any questions you have. So if there's something that Amy mentions or Jen mentions or I mention or Carrie mentions that you have a question on, at the very bottom of that document, I'll go ahead and share that again so you guys can see our shared document. It is tiny.cc/TILO, TILO-001. At the very bottom of that document, there's areas down there where you can add your own questions or comments or your own tips or tools. And if you're watching this in the future and you're saying, oh, wow, that is so cool what Amy said, how do I get to that thing? Again, tiny.cc/TILO-001 will get you to this document, and from there you can find all of these resources that are being shared. All right, so let's go ahead and turn this over to Jennifer.
Good afternoon. When I was thinking of including myself in presenting in our Hangout today, Carrie had mentioned best practices, and so the first one actually on my list has nothing to do with technology. It's more about being seen within my buildings. This is my second year in this role, and staying away from the office would probably be my #1 tip. So even if it's like the cafeteria, so in the high school, you know, wherever the central location is, I will station myself out there as much as possible. In the high school, I like to hang out in the cafeteria because it's a central location, and students and staff alike. And so people that normally might not think of asking you to come into a classroom or some technology advice when you're there all the time and they can see you. You're much more easily accessible and approachable. At the middle school, I hang out in the library, again, a nice central location that everybody's like, oh yeah, hey, I need this from you, or do you have any suggestions for me for this? So that's my number one, so far my number one as a technology coach suggestion is just keep out of the office as much as possible. Like Amy, I also have a extension that I will show you that I use frequently. Another thing that I think has been helpful in my role is showing people how to do things in very quick video segments that I will then email the link to. And previous, I've always used Screencast-O-Matic, which is a separate website. But lately, I've been using more of Screencast-ify. So I'm going to go and share my screen very quickly with you. Okay. My screen. Are we seeing my screen?
Looks good. Yep,
okay.
You're
Looks good here too.
All right, it looks kind of goofy on mine, so I just want to make sure. So if you notice, I'm in my Chrome browser, and I have all the extensions that are up here. And this is the Screencast-ify. And what it allows me to do is quickly take screenshots of anything that I'm working on. So for example, I had a question about how to, we actually have two emails at our, in Vermilion. We have our Outlook email and we have our Google email, which is a SailorNet domain. And so people wanted to be able to check both simultaneously. And so I did a really quick Screencast-ify capture in which I showed them how to forward their SailorNet mail to their Vermilion Schools mail, and I use Screencast-ify to do that. So after you take your screenshot, you will then have it directly uploaded into your drive, and you can also, it also will give you the choice to upload to YouTube as well. Now if you use Screencast-O-Matic, which I mentioned is a separate site, you will also have to have a YouTube account and then upload your video segments directly to YouTube. So that is one of them. And then I'm going to go back here. Okay. My screen still should be. Okay. Am I back?
It's showing you at the moment.
Okay, that's good. Oh, and the other thing that I was going to mention was that once I make my screencasts, either using Screencast-O-Matic or, again, more recently, my extension Screencast-ify, I will email that link. In my district, people still are primarily communicating with email, so I try to use that as much as possible, but then I will also post that screencast to my blog on Blogger and share with my Google Plus community. So I've created a Google Plus community that is just for our teachers in Vermilion called Vermilion Teachers Community, and it will allow me to quickly show you very quickly what that looks like. So if you don't use communities in your school district, I highly encourage it. There's the Vermilion Teachers Community. And it just allows me to quickly share out happenings. So TILO's first hangout on air, and then I could insert the link and share it. So oops, first you got to give it a category. And literally allows you to share any resources that you come across very, very, very quickly. So I'm a big advocate of the Google Plus, and also I use Blogger for my blog. And that is about all my tips for today. I don't want to take up too much time.
All right, very good. So Carrie, I think I'm up next. So I'll go ahead and share my stuff as well. All righty. Very good. Oh, and by the way, Jen, I did add to the bottom of your bullet point there about Google Plus Communities, webinar I did a little while back on setting up and using communities. I could not agree with you more. It's one of the most powerful pieces of Google Plus. If you're not using Google Plus, you're like, I don't need another social media thing. You know, I've got Facebook, I've got Twitter. Just for the fact of using communities is a reason to enable Google Plus on your account. It's a wonderful way to connect with educators all around the world, and whether you're creating your own community to be used within your school district, or if you're simply joining communities of like-minded educators, it's a really powerful tool. So you can check out that webinar that goes into more detail all about communities under Jen's bullet there about communities. All right. All right, so for my tips, I tried to pick a theme, and my theme was pretty much not enough time and too much whatever. And basically, you know, how do you deal with the too much whatever it is, given that we only have so many hours in the day? And so I came up with three things. The first one is how I stay up to date on information, especially related to Google Apps. The second is how I stay connected with all of the people that I'm serving. And then lastly is how I keep people up to date on all of the things that we're doing. And so again, it's, you know, all this stuff that's out there and how do you manage it. So the first one I want to talk about is Feedly. Now, Feedly is a website that allows you to pull together recent blog posts from blogs or websites that function in a blog-like format. What I mean by that is there are obviously, you know, thousands and thousands of fantastic educational websites out there. Well, do you really have time every day to go up to your bookmarks and go down one by one by one by one and revisit all of these great educational blogs and all of these great EdTech news sites? No, you know, and so what's going to happen is days are going to go by, weeks are going to go by, and you're like, oh, I have not looked at that blog in, you know, so long, and I'm out of touch now. I don't know what's happening. And so the idea is, instead of you going out to look at the stories, let Feedly bring all of the stories into one place for you to look at. So they come to you rather than you going to them. Basically, Feedly is what is considered an RSS aggregator. Now, RSS stands for Real Simple Syndication. And it's been around forever. If you go to pretty much any blog, and I'll open up an example here in a second and show you, usually there's going to be a button there that lets you know that there's an RSS feed that you can grab and put into an RSS aggregator. Now, prior to Feedly, I used to use one called Google Reader, which I loved, and I don't know why, but Google killed one of their own products. They shut down Google Reader several years ago, and that's what I used to use, while Feedly kind of became my next choice, and I absolutely love it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag over here. Let me find my Feedly here. I'm going to drag this over and drop it onto the screen here so you guys can see my Feedly here. All right, there we go. So if I go to Feedly.com, it's free. You know, just log in with an account. Basically, what I can do is down the side here, I can grab all of these different websites that I like to visit, and I can add them. And let me zoom in here so you guys can see this better. Oops, wrong screen here. Got to get over to this one here. You can see that there's an Add Content button I can click, and basically I just have to paste in the URL of the blog or the publication that I'm wanting to add to Feedly. And if there's an RSS feed associated with that, then what it will do is it will pick up that RSS feed, and I can add it to any of my categories over here. So I've got like EdTech and Google and tech integration. Now, for example, Google. Let's use that for an example. If I click on my Google link here, I have 1, 2, 3 plus 31 more sources. So what? 32. 35, 34, 34. I've got 34 different Google blogs that I've put all together in here, and I can actually expand it out if you want to see all of them there. And so basically by doing one click, by simply going to Feedly and doing nothing but clicking on the Google thing, I get information pulled from all of these different Google blogs and dumped into one place, and I can simply go down, see the headline. If it's something I'm interested in, I can give a click on it, it'll open up, and then I can read that article in more detail. And then if I really want to, I can click on the title and it will shoot me out to that website where now I can see it in its natural environment. Okay? Now while I'm there, let me highlight for you the feed button. So here is Google's Inside Search blog, and over here you can see there's a feed button that if I click on, it'll give me an option to come up here and grab the feed link, which in this case is feeds.feedburner.com/inside search. It depends, you know, they're all different, you know, as far as how they put that feed together, but it's going to be some kind of a link, and you can simply come in there, copy that link, go back over to Feedly, and like I said, you could hit the Add Content button. I could paste that in, and when I do, it would go out and find anything in that feed, and then I could add that feed to my list. So basically, what I end up doing is this is how I stay up to date on everything happening in Google Apps for Education. I found 34 websites, mostly Google-related websites, but some of them are from other organizations besides Google, like Google 9 to 5 is a really good one, and there's a few others that aren't specifically from Google. And so I try to go here every couple of days. I may not make it every single day, but I know that when I come here, I'm going to see, you know, the most recent blog posts, and I can simply go down through here, click through these, and not miss out on anything new. Now, it doesn't have to be just Google related. Obviously, any blogs that you follow, this is a great way to bring them to you rather than you having to go out and try to find them day after day after day. So I would encourage you to take a look at Feedly if you're looking at a way to keep all of that stuff organized. The second item that I put down was Hangouts on Air, which is, well, that's what we're doing right now. We're doing a Hangout on Air right at the moment, but this is something that I use a lot. Every week, at least at some point, I'm inside of a Hangout or a Hangout on Air. And it goes back to the idea, again, of us saying, okay, there's only so much time, there's only a couple of us, and there's thousands of them out there, the thems being all the teachers and the students and all the people that we support. And so we use Hangouts on Air here at Spark in a number of ways. One of the options, one of the things we do with it is we create webinars. Much like we're doing right now with this TILO webinar, we create webinars, try to do about one per week. And so I'm going to go to the link here, it's ti.apps.spark.org/videopd. Let me head on over there and you'll see the website. There it is. And you'll see that over the last year we've put together 20-some webinars covering all sorts of topics, whether it's improving writing with docs or graphic organizers with drawings or searching or Google Sites or whatever the case might be. And every one of these webinars, it's a Hangout on Air. So basically if I come in here and say, oh, I want to learn about teaching math with Google Drawings, well, here we have an embedded video that was basically a Hangout on Air. When I ran this webinar, I set it up as a Hangout on Air and taught the webinar. And the beautiful thing about a Google Hangout on Air is it's broadcast live, so as many people that want to view it can, and it's recorded automatically to your YouTube channel. So when my webinars are done, I just hit done and it's finished, and that's it. Automatically that video has been recorded to my YouTube channel. I may go in and trim it up a little bit, but for the most part, you know, that's it. The video is all done, and now people can come here and they can view these webinars anytime that is convenient for them. So because, and this really came about, like I said, because you know, there's only so much time, and Anthony and I try to get out to all the schools and we do trainings, but we just can't be everywhere all the time. So we decided, let's take some of our trainings, let's do them as a webinar, let's do them real well, and then people can watch them at their convenience whenever it's good for them. In addition to being able to come here and watch the webinars, we've also got all of the help guides related to it, and we even have a quiz you can take at the end that will give you a certificate of attendance, a 1-hour certificate of attendance that is emailed to you for completing that webinar, so you can turn that into your LPDC. So definitely feel free to take advantage of any of those that we have out there. That is one way that we use Hangouts on Air. The other is to be able to connect with people that physically can't get together in one location, and so every month we have a Google user group meeting. And here's the link for that, google.apps.spark.org/user group. And basically what we do is, again, Hangouts on Air. So we do meet in person for those that can come here. So if somebody wants to drive over to Canton and meet with us, we do meet here in one of our labs. But at the same time, we also run a live Google Hangout. I'll zoom in a bit so you can see this a little bit better there. We run a live Google Hangout. So for example, we've got one coming up this Friday. So there's the link out to the Google Plus page, and from there on this Friday you'll be able to hit the play button and you'll be able to watch live our user group meeting. And this is how we can connect with folks that maybe can't get here in person. Remember, I serve school districts, all the way from the bottom of Stark County to the top of Portage County. An easy, hour plus, drive for some of these people to get here. And so this allows folks to be able to view live, and if they want, they can jump into the Hangout and join it with us. And many times that'll be the case, and they can share questions and resources as well. And of course, we have a shared Google Doc, much like our webinar here today, where people can put in their own resources and use the resources that we put in there. So absolutely love Hangouts on Air. I appreciate so much that Google has made that available to us. It's a great way to connect with people no matter where they're at, and it's a great way to duplicate yourself, to do something one time, let it get recorded, and then it can be used over and over and over again. And then the final thing that I chose was MailChimp. And this deals with getting information out to lots and lots of people. So we do want to keep people in the loop on, do we have any new upcoming webinars? Do we have some professional development opportunities? Is there a really neat new resource people should be aware of? Well, I mean, you can share that a lot of ways. And we do. We put things on Twitter. I put things on Google+. We share things in our meetings. All of that's fantastic. But email is still a very common method that a lot of people do prefer and a lot of people do like. And so, I don't know how long ago this was now, but sometime here in this last year, Anthony and I said, okay, we probably should just go ahead and do some sort of an email newsletter for people that would prefer just to get once a month a simple email that shows up and says, hey, here's all the new information from the last month, as far as here's our webinars we did, here's what's coming up new, here's some great resources, here's somebody you should follow on Twitter, here's some conferences that you can sign up for, whatever the case is. And so we were looking for a good tool to do that and decided to use MailChimp. Now, I really like MailChimp a lot. It does have a free version and a paid version. We are using the totally free version, not paying a dime for it, and it is a really, really nice system. So let me go ahead and I'm going to bring my MailChimp screen on over here and put that up for you. There we go. So here I am signed into MailChimp. And basically the way it works is you can create campaigns, and a campaign is just an email that you're going to send out, and you can see our campaigns are all newsletters. So from newsletter 1 back in January of 2015, so we're coming up on a year, all the way up to newsletter 11, which we just sent out at the start of November. We try to do about one a month. We can come in here and we can create these newsletters. So for example, let's look at newsletter 11. We called our newsletter Spark Lines, and if you look, you'll see, oh my goodness, look, a TILO article at the very top of it there. So yes, this last month our newsletter talked about the TILO email list and the TILO Google community, so people were made aware of that. We also talked about a distance learning opportunity through Kent State that was coming up. We mentioned our upcoming webinars. We mentioned the recorded webinars that we've finished. The last month we talked about our Google user group, any upcoming conferences like the NeoTi conference, or whatever the case might be. So this is an example of the newsletter we send out, and then you get reports. So we can come in here and see how our newsletters are being received, as far as how many people are, how many people got it, how many people opened it, how many people clicked on different things. We can go into individual newsletters and we can look much more detail at what was clicked on, what were the most common links in there, and so forth. And so basically what happens is, let me go ahead and pull up, let's see, I'll pull back up my page here, and actually I'll open up our newsletter page on our tech integration site. So basically all people have to do on their end is, if they come to our tech integration website and they go to our newsletter link, right there is a simple link that says click here to subscribe to the Sparklines newsletter. Just takes them to a simple page where they fill in a little bit about themselves, and that's it. MailChimp signs them up. Now, it is free up until you have 2,000 subscribers. We've got about 600. We're getting close to that, so we're still in the free zone for quite a while. If it gets to the point that we get over 2,000 subscribers, well, that'll be a good problem to have, and I guess at that point we'll have to start looking at, paying for it at that point. But up until then, we're just going to continue to use the free version. So those are my 3 tools that I use at least once a week, each of those, if not more often. All right, turn this over to Carrie.
Okay, I will get going here and finish up with a few here. We'll see what we can get through. I'm going to share my screen in a moment. I can get back in that. Go off of my side page here. Is that being shared now, looking like?
Yep, we can see
All right, perfect. So with mine, I just have this link that is back on the outline right here to these items. I thought I'd expand on them and not clutter up the main item, because I have a few lines and links and so forth. But my number one tip are things like today, the Hangout or webinars. Anytime you can learn at your own convenience, whether it's live or recorded Hangout, there's so many available for us as well as for our teachers and even students to subscribe to and watch and learn from. Even if you can provide these, I've done a few of these as a workshop where I sit down with a group of teachers and we watch a webinar together. And so we have some time at the end to have a discussion together and learn from the webinars. So on this handout, there's several sites that you can go to. Obviously the Hangouts on Air, there's a bunch of those that you can schedule yourself or find people using it. I use EdWeb a lot. I watch a lot of things on there, participate, and they're really good with email updates. ISTE always has some opportunities, especially if you're a member. I think you can only do it if you are a member. Info Ohio, at least once a month they'll have something as well. And I've got this other page here, these others listed that I have on an older website, wiki, that I keep some pages more updated than others, and this is one that I actually update as much as I can, and this shows the webinars then through a bunch of different resources, including, Eric, I just added yours today, the Spark recorded webinars, so that's a great resource. Yours are always so informative, so I have that there now as well. But this is just a starting point that I send teachers here to as well. Okay, so I'm going to go down to my next one is our reminders, and again, everyone just seems to be so busy these days, including myself and everyone in this district, and I'm sure your districts are the exact same. Nobody is freeing up a lot of free time. We've got a lot of things going on. Therefore, I am finding myself using reminders a lot more, whether that's through Google Calendar, or we also use Outlook here. I set those up as well. But the Google Calendar ones seem to be really good and reliable, that pop up in my email, since I'm in email a lot throughout the day. Also, you can set up pop-up reminders like this one here. I've actually got several set up on this example here. I've never done this, but I thought it'd be kind of funny to have myself get constant email reminders of things that are very important that you don't want to forget. The pop-up is nice. Here's an example of one. While you're working on the computer, you'll just get a pop-up message that says, hey, by the way, you know, this is starting, and you can set these up at your convenience. We don't use Google Calendar a lot here in my district, but I use it for scheduling workshops and embedding a calendar and things like that. And I use it for these types of reminders for things I don't want to forget, that I need a reminder to. Like the other day, I was supposed to meet with a teacher and I totally missed it because another meeting went late. That would have been a great example of setting a reminder to go to that as well, which I didn't do that day. So I will be using these more and more for those types of things that you just don't want to miss. So I use these for my board reports, if I have to check workshop registrations, and of course really important things like watering my plant every week. Those types of things that you don't want to forget. Okay, my third one are the bookmarks and folders, and you could probably see there, I think, on my screen. Let me make this a little bigger. It looks like I can make this all a little bit bigger on your screen there, maybe, so you can see a little bit better. This is something that I started using a while ago, the folders in the bookmark bar, but I notice a lot of teachers do not use this. Folders especially, so you can click on an item and get to all the things inside of it, all your bookmarks. If you look at some people's bookmarks, they'll click on a folder but then have, you know, hundreds or dozens of links in there, and that's where it gets a little dangerous. So I try to keep my main ones within view, so I'm 1 or 2 clicks away from things that I need all the time. And even using the trick that a lot of people are sharing this lately, if you make a bookmark and you save it, just delete the name so only the icon shows up. So that's another thing that I have here for like Google, Yahoo, my Google Keep, and so forth. And our main Rossford website is over here. Okay, so those are just some quick, accessible types of things. The other thing I like about it is either at the bottom, if I come over here with this one, in Firefox, I believe there's an item once you click on a folder either at the bottom or at the top about opening all of these links at once. In Chrome, you actually have to right-click on it, and then you can do open all bookmarks in that folder in that window that you're currently in, or you can open it in a new window. And I love this for things that I have to access, maybe a series of bookmarks, during a workshop, or possibly set it up. I used to use this years ago when I had bookmarked student blogs for a university course. And I had all the student blogs bookmarked in a folder, and I would just simply go to that bookmark folder and open it all up all at once. I'd go do a couple things, come back to my computer after they all loaded, and then go through and grade them. So it's really nice to have it quickly accessible through that 1-click access or 2 clicks. The other option is to go into your bookmark manager if you ever need to grab a lot of them at once, URLs. You can select them all, and then you can just copy-paste this whole list. It'll paste all the URLs into an email or a document or anything else you might need. So you can just select all, do Control-A or Apple-A or Command-A on a Mac, and paste them where you need to. And then the last one that I don't have a lot of time for, because this could literally be at least one or several sessions, but I want to make people aware of it if they don't use it yet or want to learn more about it. Maybe we can do some sessions in the future. Is to use the Google Scripts or add-ons. They used to just be called scripts. Now they have add-ons and scripts you can use for doc sheets and forms, and possibly even getting into other Google documents. But these have been an incredible time saver for me, with workshop registrations, to automatically email that information to myself and a copy to the person that is registering, so that they have all the information included. We will be setting that up for future TILO events as well, which we didn't get to do for this one, but you can watch for those in the future. Another thing people use them for are automated certificates of attendance. So you just simply fill out a Google form and it will spit out a beautiful certificate that you can then either email or automatically, you can send it to somebody or print it, or you can email it to them automatically once that's filled out. There's even situations where I've used it to limit the number of responses that you're waiting for. Let's say there's so many seats or sessions available. You can use some add-ons for that to set that up with these add-ons or scripts. One that I used earlier this year here in our district, we did a mini EdTech conference and we had people sign up for sessions and so forth. So we used that to sign up for sessions and then close out sessions if they are no longer available or full, and then we set up automatic schedule was created for them so that they could see what they signed up for all day long. So that was about for like 150 teachers. I didn't want to have to do that by hand. So that worked out really nice. But just to give you an idea, if you're not familiar with this is an example of what that script does, that email registration. So I get a copy of this email and it also goes to whoever registered. And in my email inbox, it's nice because it shows right here, it's a registration confirmation. It shows me the workshop and on what day, so I can quickly sort them and then add people to the workshop session list of that I keep. Also, it's a nice record if, again, if I have to go back into my records, I have that in my email as well of who signed up. Okay. So here's what that script looks like. This is old school. There's also a add-on out there. I think I put it back up here. An add-on, where is it, called Form Mailer or Form Emailer. I'm not familiar with that. I haven't tried that one yet. It probably does the same thing. I started this back before add-ons were created, and I had to Google, of course, Google how to do this, and it took me a couple days to figure it out and get it working. But once you have the script going, you just simply have to plug in the right values and make a form that goes along with it, or vice versa. And it looks pretty complex if you look at it here, but again, once you get it set up, it's like anything that's automated. It takes a while to set up, but it will save you a lot of time in the long run. So I'm curious to hear how many of you are using scripts or add-ons for those types of things in your job. And then this is a screenshot of what it looks like on the computer screen itself. It helps that it's color-coded. So, yeah. Eric, you have I'm sure you use scripts and add-ons.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything that we do, you try to automate because there's not enough time. I mean, so like the whole webinar thing that we do, when somebody signs up for our webinar, I use yet another mail merge. That's the name of the Google Sheets add-on that I use for that one, that emails automatically out to the person who signed up, telling them about, you know, thank you for signing up, blah, 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 blah. I can also have it email me if I wanted to do that. So that would be a good example of an add-on that probably does a lot like what your script was doing there. And then I use Autocrat for the certificates of attendance. So when somebody takes the quiz at the end of watching the webinar, Autocrat will check to see did they pass it or not. If they pass the quiz, it generates a PDF certificate of attendance, emails that right to them. If they fail the quiz, it sends them a different email saying, sorry, please try again, here's the resources to help you, blah, 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 like that. And what's great about that is, I mean, you know, I could do a webinar, you know, from last December, and I can forget about it. You know, a year later, people are still taking that quiz because they've just come across that webinar that's a year old now, but they watch it, they take the quiz, boom, it sends them the certificate of attendance. I don't have to grade anything. I don't have to monitor it. Now, I've got a spreadsheet, which we do have, where we pull in all the data so we can kind of look at it and make sure the scripts are still running properly and everything's fine, and we can monitor it. But for the most part, set it and forget it. So yeah, that's fantastic. I absolutely agree. You could do a lot of training time just on scripts and add-ons for sheets and forms and docs.
Perfect. Great. Well, I think we're to the Q&A session. If we can get into, I think back into the document there, Eric. Are you still sharing or?
Yeah, absolutely. I can pull that up on there if that's going to be helpful. So basically, here is the Q&A portion, and we only had one question, but then we did get some neat tips. So for the Q&A, the question was they wanted a little bit more details about MailChimp. I know I mentioned it was free for up to 2,000 subscribers, but I failed to mention how much email you're allowed to send. And for the free version, it's up to 12,000 emails per month. So if you really did max out at 2,000 subscribers, you could do 6 campaigns per month. You could send out 6 newsletters. Now we only do like about 1 a month. Sometimes we'll do 2 a month if there's some reason why we need to send something extra special out. But so basically with 2,000 subscribers, you could do 6 emails per month at no cost for that. So that was the only question that we had come in. But then we did have some great tips and tricks from other people. I see that Colleen mentioned using Extensity as a Chrome extension to easily turn extensions on and off. That is absolutely a great one. I use, instead of Extensity, actually I think I do have Extensity on this one. I've got Extensity on this account. On another one, I use Extension Manager. They're very similar. But what's so nice about that is you can very easily turn an extension on or off, and that's not a bad idea for a number of reasons, one of which is extensions use up memory while they're enabled. So if you have, again, I'll pull this back up, like you can see I've got a couple of extensions turned on here in the top. While these are turned on, they are using up memory. It's not like a web app. If it's a Chrome web extension, it actually is using memory. So if you get enough of those up there, you will start to notice sluggishness. Things will start to slow down in your browser, and also extensions can fight with each other sometimes. So it's a great way to use something like Extension Manager or Extensity to turn those on and off. So thank you, Colleen, for that. All right, other tips and tricks here. Let's see. David was saying on a Chromebook, click and hold the min-max button, and 2 arrows will appear to create a split screen. Ah, very good. So you can split your screen, your window, into 2 sides so that you can work between the pages. Excellent. Awesome. And yet another mail merge gets a call out there, and the Google Classroom extension to bring items directly into Classroom. I do have that one installed on one of my accounts here. I'd have to fire that up here real quick. Here we go. So if I probably have it turned off, though, is my guess. Yep, I've got it turned off. But with Extension Manager, I can turn it right back on. And it's called Share to Classroom. I believe that's the one they're referring to there. And basically, Share to Classroom allows you to click the little Google Classroom extension button, and from there you can pick which class you want to share the website to. And after you pick which class you want to share it to, you can decide how you want to share it. Do you want to create an assignment from it, make an announcement from it, or do you want to push it to your students? If you choose that, it'll actually cause that web page to open up automatically on their Chromebooks or a Chrome browser that they're logged into. Now, they have to have the extension as well, but again, that extension can be pushed out to all of your kids, and then anytime you want to push a website to your students, you can just use that, hit push, and boom, suddenly that web page will open up on their devices. So yeah, those are great. So thank you, Christy, for that one. Good stuff. Anybody else notice anything that we missed there?
Eric, I wanted to point out, and maybe I don't know if Fran is still able to see us or hear us. I don't know. She said within the Q&A on the Hangout that she can't see presenters, and I think that was posted a while ago. Do you know why that might be? Anyone?
Are you vampires, perhaps?
Yes.
Electronic media cannot. Vampires and X-Men. There was a certain time during the X-Men comic when they could not be videotaped. No, that is odd because really it's just basically a streaming video, much like you would get on YouTube. And so if nothing's coming up, my suggestion is we apologize, but please go back to view this after we're done, because this is being recorded as a Hangout on Air, and so it will be available on our YouTube channel, and that'll be an easy way to find it. We can post well, actually, I think you did you put the link at the top for? Okay, if not, that's fine. You can go back to the event page. You can play it. That'll be fine too. If you go back to the event page at the top here, that will let you play the video after it's done recording, but we can also put the YouTube link here as well, and that way you can view it after the fact. I'm not sure why it wouldn't be looking proper while you're viewing it live, though. I would always suggest make sure you're using the most up-to-date browser, Chrome if possible, but at the same time I'm not sure it could be something that could be blocked at a district level. Not sure.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much. I learned a lot today too.
Yes, me too. I have my list.
I know. I was writing down too.
I want to point out down at the bottom of the notes page there is an evaluation link there in pink. I just created something real quick today. So if you can give us some feedback, and we'll keep fine-tuning things and share that with whoever presents. We obviously won't be the only presenters in this. We hope to have lots of presenters throughout the year, and each of those will get a copy of the evaluations at the end. So it's great to have feedback. And notice the last part are some tentatively scheduled TILO sessions. These are people that have signed up to present as of earlier this week. Those still need to be confirmed and details set up and so forth, and we will be getting those onto a calendar and or sent out via the TILO listserv to people, including, again, there's 2 TILO email lists. There's the ones of people that signed up to our specific form, Google form, to join the TILO group, and then there's one for joining the Info Ohio and Ohio Department of Ed TILO listserv. So both of those will be getting links to these future presentations. So hopefully these will all be able to get scheduled. And I see Jen, is that you for the December 2nd? Yeah.
Yep, that's me.
Perfect. You're starting off again. You're 2 for 2.
Early, you know.
That's right. Early and often.
I need to get on my game.
That's right. Get on there, Amy. You got to talk to. That was Tiffany that was scheduling some of those. So we'll be scheduling more as the year goes on, I'm sure. And we appreciate everyone who's able to join us, and those of you that are watching this on a recording. We appreciate your time, and we're working on improving this. So if you have suggestions, definitely put that in the session evaluation, and we will be again working on some other automation things to get this a little quicker and more professional for everybody through the whole process. We appreciate, I appreciate the presenters who signed up to be first on this list, and we hope to have many more participants viewing and learning together, because that's what this is all about. So thank you all, and we hope
you for our first time. This was amazing.
Yes, not too bad. So Eric, thank you for setting up the Hangout.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure.
Working us through that as well. And we hope to see you all again soon. Thanks.